What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. The second ever all-women's premium live event is finally here, as WWE is set to host Evolution 2. And for this specific event, WWE have deviated away from their usual 5-match formula. And with a stacked card featuring numerous title matches, join us now as we look at all the winners and losers from Evolution 2. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now the first match is Jacy Jayne versus Jordynne for the NXT Women's title. And Jacy Jayne winning the NXT title came as a huge surprise, but when WWE fast-tracked Stephanie Vaquer to the main roster, it dawned on fans that Jayne's reign was likely to be a transitional one at best. Jayne will collide with Jordynne at Evolution 2, and it's going to take a miracle for Grace to not walk out of the PLE as champion. WWE have high hopes for her, and it was even rumored that she was being called up to the main roster. There have been calls on social media for WWE to book a match as a total squash and have Grace look like a total star in the matchup. This would be a smart move, as Grace is certainly a name that would benefit from this type of booking, but naturally WWE may be reserved in doing this due to accusations of them completely burying Jayne. But our prediction, Jordynne wins the NXT Women's title. Next up, the Women's Battle Royal. As was expected, WWE have formally announced a Battle Royal for Evolution 2. This Battle Royal will serve as a way for WWE to get talent past and present on the card, and WWE have added an additional stipulation that the winner of the Battle Royal will be permitted to challenge for the Women's World title at Clash in Paris next month. Now, in relation to the names involved, it's widely believed that names that aren't scheduled for a featured match on the show will be included. This means names such as Bianca Belair, Chelsea Green, and Stephanie Vaquer are likely in the Battle Royal. But fans are firmly expecting legends and returns to be involved in the match, and it's worth examining what legends are even possible for the match itself. The first is Kelly Kelly. Kelly Kelly is a name that WWE often rely on for nostalgia appearances and battle royals. Kelly has even stated that she wants to be involved in the match, so it would make all the sense in the world to see her return. Michelle McCool is also another name that is pushing to be involved in the match. Thanks to McCool having a positive working relationship with WWE and literally featuring as a coach on the WWE LFG show, an appearance from the former Divas champion should definitely be expected. Former Women's Champion Alundra Blaze aka Medusa is also pushing to be involved in the Battle Royal. This would be a great way for WWE to honor the legends of yesteryear. But here's a wild one for you, how about the return of Paige? Paige has recently finished up a run in AEW, and it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see a return at Evolution. She's mentioned in past interviews that she doesn't actually want to return as Zaria, she wants to return to WWE as Paige. She also feels speculation of a return by tweeting about the event, and even though she's talked about having a break from wrestling, this could all be a red herring. The other is Gail Kim, as Gail Kim being involved would come as a major surprise, but it's said that Kim was backstage at WWE shows recently. The bad blood between WWE and Kim is well documented, however a lot of names that Kim had an issue with in WWE have now moved on, including Vince McMahon, and this opens the door for Kim to return. She's a name that's never received her flowers in WWE, and hearing her iconic Ruthless Aggression theme song play would be one of the most memorable returns of the year. Hopefully, if her appearance goes well, it leads to one final run for the veteran and perhaps even a justified Hall of Fame induction. But what about Lita? Lita is considered by many to be one of the greatest female stars of all time, and it would be bizarre if she wasn't involved in the PLE in some capacity. Lita still has a positive working relationship for WWE, so she's definitely one of the more likely names to appear. And what about AJ Lee? Well, virtually every month, specifically since CM Punk returned to WWE, a comeback for AJ Lee is rumored online every single time. Whilst it's unlikely that AJ returns in the Battle Royal on a B-level PLE, AJ has always been a massive advocate for women's wrestling, and she's a name that influenced the women's revolution in 2015. AJ returning in this manner would be shocking, but stranger things have happened. But while some of these legends appearing is certainly going to make the match more memorable, it's likely that a main roster star wins the matchup, and that star is Stephanie Vaquer. WWE are evidently high on Vaquer, and her walking into Clash in Paris as #1 contender is a sensible direction for WWE to go down. Our prediction, Stephanie Vaquer advances to Clash in Paris and wins the Battle Royal. Next up, Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. WWE have truly excelled in recent months when it comes to the Women's Intercontinental title. Ever since Becky Lynch became involved in the program, the prestige of the title has skyrocketed, and the multi-women feud heading into Evolution has been one of the highlights of Raw each and every week. There are vocal calls from fans to see the Triple Threat Showdown main event the show. These calls are based on the logic that the match has the strongest build on the entire card, which there's no denying, and the star power of Lynch and Bayley more than justifies that call. Lynch's reign is only just getting started, and whilst a title change wouldn't be too shocking, it's likely that Lynch walks out of Evolution 2 as Women's Intercontinental Champion. Our prediction: Becky Lynch retains the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Next up is the Judgment Day versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Ruca and Zaria versus the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team titles. The tag title matchup at Evolution 2 was initially set as the Judgment Day versus the Bella Twins. However, due to Liv Morgan's injury, these plans have now drastically changed. The match has suffered from limited build, and 2 of the 4 teams involved have never once interacted with the reigning champions. This is a match that will likely see a title change, and based on the 3 teams challenging for the gold, Flair and Bliss walking out as champions is the probable outcome. The Kabuki Warriors may be a popular option, however there's been rumors that Asuka could be turning heel and commencing a feud with Kairi Sane, so it's unlikely that WWE delivers a title switch to the former champions. But our prediction: Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss win the WWE Women's Tag titles. Next up, Naomi versus Jade Cargill in a no-holds-barred match. The feud between Naomi and Jade Cargill has been one of the more consistent feuds in 2025. Whilst a lot of fans are expecting the 2025 Queen of the Ring to secure the win here, it would be a welcome change of pace to see Miss Money in the Bank pick up the win, evening out the series at 1-1. It's a common trope in WWE that when talent win the Money in the Bank contract, they go on a losing streak, but this trope is tired. WWE could even debut a bodyguard for Naomi, as Naomi having a heater would be a great way to take a persona to the very next level. But in relation to who this bodyguard could be, WWE have numerous options, including Tamina, who's actually still on the WWE roster and who Naomi has a ton of history with, or even Nia Jax, who urgently needs to find a new role on television. But our prediction: Naomi defeats Jade Cargill. Next up is Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus for the WWE Women's title. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus for the women's title is a match that has officially just come out of nowhere. The build to the match is non-existent, and Stratus being #1 contender despite being semi-retired makes little or no sense. Nevertheless, it does make sense to use Stratus for this PLE, as Stratus is still arguably the most popular female wrestler of all time, and she's a name that belongs in a top match. But when it comes to the match, the dynamic will be interesting, as Stratus has only wrestled a handful of matches over the past decade, and Stratton is still somewhat inexperienced in the ring. This doesn't necessarily mean that the match will be bad, it just may not be the 5-star classic that some fans are expecting online. But all signs point towards Stratton retaining a women's title and moving into a new program for SummerSlam. However, Stratus winning the title and perhaps the 2 run it back at SummerSlam wouldn't come as too much of a surprise. SummerSlam is a 2-night event this year, and WWE need major attractions across the board, and the WWE Hall of Famer walking into the show as champion would definitely be a big talking point. However, due to how random this match is, it's highly unlikely that WWE are planning a Stratus win, and it's virtually a certainty that it remains Tiffy time at Evolution 2. Our prediction: Tiffany Stratton retains the WWE Women's title. And finally, it's time for the main event, as it's Iyo Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title. Iyo Sky versus Rhea Ripley should have been a huge match on paper, yet the lack of build to the match has without a doubt influenced the hype. The match has all the makings to steal the show, yet the lack of story heading into the match could act as a significant hindrance. Fans have been critical of the idea of the match, especially as Ripley becoming #1 contender just came out of nowhere, and it's another example of names with star power instantly receiving title shots without even earning them. Now let's face it, Sky's title reign has been a total failure since WrestleMania, as she's barely been featured, and fans collectively wondered if she'd had backstage heat, as WWE simply weren't presenting her as if she was a world champion. Triple H is a name that often reacts in his booking to feedback online, and based on how fans are feeling, it wouldn't come as too much of a surprise to see Sky pick up the surprise win. WWE could then even run the match back at SummerSlam, and with them having just 3 weeks to build yet another PLE, this could be a smart route to go down. In relation to potential Naomi cash-in, this is unlikely, as it's likely that Naomi takes aim at WWE's women's title currently owned by Tiffany Stratton. The more likely outcome sees Ripley secure a clean win, and Ripley and Sky embrace as the show goes off the air. This is no doubt a risky move, as some are questioning if Ripley needs another world title run, but in WWE's defense, Ripley is without a doubt the biggest star in the entire women's division. It makes sense from a presentation and marketing perspective that WWE would want Evolution 2 going off the air with Ripley as champion, as it's a statement of intent and a reminder to the audience that Ripley, in WWE's eyes at least, is the biggest name in the women's division and one of the main names in the entire company. Our final prediction: Rhea Ripley wins the Women's World title. But there you have it, folks. I will look at the winners and losers of this year's Evolution 2 PLE. What are your predictions? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.